Here with Bobby Muuss, the award-winning soccer coach for Wake Forest. Bobby, what is the biggest challenge maybe of this spring season other than COVID? And you're going to have some fans that actually get to see you play, so that's kind of exciting. But what maybe is the biggest challenge for you guys?
That we're a completely new team. I think we have some guys with a lot of experience, but at the same time, maybe they were role players, and now they're going to have to be the key and really the catalyst players to push us through. We're in an all ACC basically schedule besides one non-conference game, and we lost more than everybody else in the conference in terms of people that have moved on. So we say it each spring is our spring season is where we see young guys take ownership of roles, right, and run with those. And we really need to start seeing guys fulfill roles now for the fall. But we're not worried about the fall right now. We're worried about guys fulfilling roles immediately for a potential, bid to an NCAA championship here this spring.
And I think I counted right. Seven guys graduated, and then Isaiah and Calvin are in the pros. Is that roughly the way it kind of measured out? 9 guys that
we lost 10 total, so
okay.
that number may be correct. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we have 2 young men that graduated, that were on course to graduate, that decided to do their graduate degrees, starting at different institutions, which you completely respect. We put them on these plans of graduation prior to knowing that we were going to have COVID. And then, you had the 4 seniors that got drafted, or is it 4? I mean, I'm so all over the place in terms of numbers. 2 homegrown, so 2 underclassmen, signed professional contracts, and then 4 seniors, got drafted and moved on. So, because they were due to graduate in December, and that's the practice of it. Obviously, with that, it's always hard, because we have this competitive season. But how do you keep them back when the whole process was go chase a professional dream when you're done, right. Just because we're playing in a championship? So, what our loss is becomes an extremely incredible opportunity for our young team right now.
And you guys have always prided yourself on depth, and it really comes into play when you lose. I mean, every year you've lost guys to graduation and have kind of just kept and been really consistent. Is that depth really pay off here when the year changes almost?
Yes and no, John. I think the thing that we've always prided ourselves on depth was in the fall, because, you're growing throughout it. Not a lot of change of our normal spring in terms of what you lose in terms of graduation. Our guys normally graduate in 3.5 years and move on. The difference is that there's an NCAA championship, right? And I think is the not pressure. I think the pressure comes from within. But would you want to work anywhere else where there's not an expectation about winning? You know what I mean? That's why we're all here, and that's why the players come. So, our depth will help. I think what's going to help a little bit more than depth is the value to experience that our young players did get in the fall. We rotated a lot of guys, and we got guys a lot of experience in key games and ACC, real high-level games for young players, knowing that, we didn't know if COVID, if and when it would hit, and knowing that we were going to be in this situation in the spring. So all of our freshmen got time, and they played in important minutes of different games. And even when COVID hit the team at the end in the postseason, we had 11 guys out. Young guys got invaluable experience against a really good UVA team in an ACC championship setting. So that's where we'll see. We won't have depth in terms of numbers, but we have a little bit of experience from some younger players that probably wouldn't have gotten that experience, as much experience if it wasn't a COVID year.
Key guys for you this year. Give me some names of guys that you need to see some production and
this spring or this year.
For this spring, yeah, for this spring.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the key guys you're hoping to, obviously?
No, the key guys is, I know this sounds really coaching cliche, it's all of them, because the way we play, and this is what we've been preaching since the day we got back. The way we play, we can't rely on one player. It's just not the way we play, and we need everybody. In given COVID and the restrictions and the limited time that we have together, right, and building relationships and building trust besides just being on the field has been limited, but it's not an excuse. But we're going to need the older guys with a lot of experience. You look at people with invaluable experiences, Holland Rules, Jake Swallen's got a lot of experience now. Kyle Holcomb's got a tremendous amount of experience, in their 2 short years that they've been here, and even a shortened fall, Takuma Suzuki in the minutes that he's played, Nico Bonapasar, obviously we're going to really need them to step up. Omar Hernandez is going to have to be very good for us. And then we're going to need the younger guys that played in the fall to not be freshmen anymore.
Right.
Right. Freshman is okay. I play 60 minutes. I start fading. We get, that's where the depth comes in. You don't have that opportunity to have 2 or 3 players in each position right now. And then a big one that we're going to need to really see step up is Cole McNally and fill in the shoes of Andrew Pannenberg.
Okay.
We have all the confidence in the world, but he's got a great opportunity in front of him to lead the team.
And I was going to ask you about goalie, but Cole's kind of your top guy right now, and you just kind of
Cole is our only guy right now. So it's it's obviously when Andrew decided to leave, we were caught a little bit. You know what I mean? The expectation for a long time was Andrew was coming back pre-COVID. This was not a COVID exception. Over Christmas, Andrew thought, that he wanted to try to chase it right now, and obviously got the opportunity in the draft, and he'll be in preseason this week trying to earn a contract and be on a team. But it definitely didn't leave us in the greatest, in terms of depth. We've been very, very blessed with Trace Alphen coming in. He was due to come in the fall, but actually enrolled in January. So we have 2 goalkeepers in training. It's been a godsend to have that. But yeah, we will add some depth as the fall comes in the position, and some good depth. But Trace is not eligible to play right now. So and tremendously talented goalkeeper that we have a very bright future here at Wake Forest, but unfortunately we won't get to see him play in the spring.
And I know there was not many fans allowed at Spry, and it was killing everybody because they couldn't come see you guys play in the fall. What's it going to be like on Monday when I think you can get maybe 800 or 700? I don't know what the figure is, but
I have no idea. Are you
looking forward though to playing in front of some fans?
Yeah. If that's what we're allowed to do on Monday, I know, it was released yesterday. I don't know what the school's plans is. It hasn't been shared with me yet. I know that we want to at least Monday or Saturday coming up. More importantly, we want to try to, make sure our guys are healthy, get them on the field, put a good product on for if there's 50, 500, 700. I know Monday evenings are not the easiest, for fan base, but, hopefully we can get some students at the game and give them some type of relief. I feel bad. We have an opportunity each day to go out and train.
Right.
But for our student body here, which is the driving force of, not only the men's soccer program, but for our athletics program, to give them an outlet, just to go out and maybe scream and celebrate what it's like to be a Demon Deacon. I think I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the program. Obviously, I'm excited for the community if we're able to do that. But just being back at Spry, as you know, John, it's a special experience. We got a lot of young players that still don't really know what Spry Soccer Stadium is about, right? Currently, we have 13 freshmen on the roster, with the freshmen from the fall and the 5 guys that just joined us here in the spring, and the gray shirt kids. So they're not going to really appreciate what it's like yet, but it's still a special vibe being out at Spry.
They have no idea what they're in for.
No, they know, which I think is good. I think it's good in a positive way. As freshmen alone, I'm extremely empathetic to all the students.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, my job is working with the student athletes, but all freshman students, in the country, where this is not normal, right? And it's not the new normal. It's not normal. Right. It is. There's more to university than probably what they're experiencing now, and I'm looking forward to the opportunities where we can have a little bit more of that normal interaction, the social interaction that makes universities, and colleges such a special place. And I think my daughter's a freshman. I feel bad for her, and that's why it's like she's been waiting to be a freshman in high school, not in college, and I don't want to age myself here, but a freshman in high school, and she's been waiting for so long for this opportunity. It's nothing that she thought it was going to be. Right. 3 days a week online, 2 days in person. But I can't wait for her to have that interaction the same way the normal students here.
And you and I talked a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, about the push to make men's soccer, and I guess women's soccer too, 2-semester sport. And because of COVID, it kind of is this year, obviously, for the men. Is this something that you think might continue? I know there's probably got to be votes and committees and all that stuff, but this is an experiment, I think, for men's soccer as a whole, isn't it?
It is. It is. I think I thought we were in a really good place pre-COVID about really moving the agenda of the 21st century model, which, I mean, I speak for high majority of Division I college soccer coaches that it's needed to try to continue to push our game and the development and health and safety, of these young men and young women, if the women were on board with us. But with that being said COVID's changed a lot,
Yeah.
is it a little bit? It is a little bit of a sample of it, but in the real 21st century model, we wouldn't be playing for another 2 weeks. Weather would even be better. You think about the Midwest teams, like there are probably some people scratching their heads right now about like, whoa, it's cold. But again, is we in like almost our preseason mold right now,
Right.
getting into the spring. I think it is the best thing for men's, women's soccer moving forward. We are enjoying the heck out of playing one game a week and really starting to develop and train our student athletes, give them enough recovery time to play at a high level, not putting them at risk. But at the same time I think there's a lot of things that need to be sorted out here, through COVID and college athletics and really getting our bearings back, and just academia in itself, but it's definitely, I hope it's something that opens up people's eyes. I think the quality of games in the fall was incredible, just playing a game a week and really preparing and developing. I think the quality of the games was awesome. It was able to sustain a level of competitiveness for 90 minutes instead of the fatigue setting in. So I hope people get to see a lot of the positives that we got to experience as a staff. They got to think only 19 programs got to experience that in the fall.
Right.
A lot of these teams that are just playing in the spring, they're still playing 2 games a week, and they're having that condensed season to try to get as much competitiveness and competition for their student athletes, which I would do too.
Right.
If had a lot, the amount of games to do so. But I hope that everybody views this as a positive.
Do you view the ACC as maybe at an advantage this spring because you guys did play in the fall? I mean, you guys are, the ACC is one of the best in the country, obviously. But do you feel like maybe you guys
The ACC, I'll correct you there. The ACC
is
it's not one of the best soccer program, soccer conferences in the country. It is the best soccer conference in the country, and that's an easy argument. I'll say it. It's soccer's a weird game. People can beat teams, and and then we have our top teams every given year, and it rotates in that. But top to bottom, there's no better. But with that being said, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I say that because yes, teams were off. We played games, but if you look at a Wake Forest, we're a completely different team than we were in the fall. So we're in the exact same situation that these teams that didn't play in the spring. We have no idea what to expect when we step on the field on Monday, right? And then if you look at the ACC teams, we're playing less games, John. So, our opponent on Monday would have played 3 games prior to playing our first game.
Wow.
Right. Normally we'd have an exhibition, you know what I mean? But we're hitting it, we're hitting the ground running. There's some teams that will play 6 games before they play. So, in some ways, I do think we could be at a disadvantage in terms of getting those legs underneath us and game fitness and what do you have, what don't you have, what's your rotations in your lineups. But yeah, just to be in the trenches and, back against the wall, playing in a championship, atmosphere, playing in some high level games in the fall, definitely helpful. For my team, I don't know how helpful that is besides just a little experience we got our freshmen. But I think we're gonna find out here soon if it was an advantage or a disadvantage.
What do you think is the biggest key for your team as you head into this stretch? And you're chasing a championship, basically. So this is what's maybe the biggest key for you guys?
We have to focus on the process, as coaching cliche as that is with each week, win, lose, draw, we have to find ways to get better, and continue to develop individually and collectively throughout the spring. It can't be a win at all cost. We lost, so now, we're bad. We still have to take on the developmental mentality in the spring the same way we do in our normal spring. And I think if we do that, we'll get better and better as the spring goes on, as long as we stay healthy, because we are thin. But with that being said, we just have to stay positive. We have to continue to work, and we have to learn from everything we do. Good